Welcome to the Director's Cut podcast, a part of Storytime Radio Show. In this podcast, we feature stories that didn't make the final cut for the live radio show, but they are excellent stories and need to be shared. In this edition, we have memories from Cindy Dean about her father Bob and stories from Katy Rosolowski about her father Jim. These recollections were submitted for the Dear Old Dad radio show. Enjoy these stories as shared by Cindy Dean and Maggie Cooper.
Robert Richard Eric Schultz, dad to us kids, Bob to most, and Bobby to his mom, was born and raised in beautiful Wisconsin. He served his country in the U.S. Army and went from being a farm boy to a full-fledged farmer. First managing a very large corporate farm and later owner of his family's farm, which then became Schultz's Century Farm. This was a very big deal, a farm that had remained in the family for over 100 years. He was a jack of all fix-it trades, and before his farming days, he worked at the local farmers' co-op as a repair service guy. One early afternoon, he pulled into the driveway, and all 5 of us kids ran outside to see why he was home in the middle of the day. Mom had finally had it with her broken washing machine that she had been asking Dad to fix for some time. So she called the co-op and asked them to send a service guy out to fix it. Guess who they sent? There are so many memories for every season. At Christmas time, Dad would set up his Lionel trains under the tree. The sights and sounds of that train still fill my quiet Christmas thoughts. What a magical time for us kids. Summer Sunday nights were spent enjoying vanilla ice cream and fresh berries while lying on the living room floor watching Wonderful World of Disney or his favorite sitcoms with a huge box fan blowing on us. He would often say to my mom, whose name was Louise, "Weezy, let's go juking," dancing. They loved country music and dancing. Sometimes they would stay home and go juking, in which case, at 15, I was the bartender. Brandy old-fashioned, anyone? Sweet or sour? I recall as our family began our relocation move from Schultz's Century Farm to Florida in 1980, Dad and I were riding in the big U-Haul truck. We weren't even a half-mile down the road, and Goodbye Yellow Brick Road by Elton John came on the radio. When the line hit, I'll never forget Dad's quick head turn to me and the reactive look on his face, a look that said, "This song is about me." The line? "I should have stayed on the farm. I should have listened to my old man." I know that leaving the family farm and all of his extended family behind was heart-wrenching for him. I am convinced this move was to appease my mom. The things dads do for love. He was the hardest working man I have ever known. If there are any dads out there neglecting their health for whatever reason, please seek medical advice. Dad passed and left us in 1991 at 53 years young. We still miss him so very much.
My dad's dad, Pawpaw, worked at a company that sold farm supplies, John Deere and other farm implements, and washers, dryers, and appliances. Dad described his dad as charming and having political friends on both sides. Pawpaw played pinochle with the priests, but only after they took off their collars. He taught Dad how to fish and hunt. Pawpaw loved to hunt, and he made shells out of BBs and powder. Their Cocker Spaniel, won at a state fair, named Casey, was a great hunting dog and would help with the dove, quail, and pheasant. Farmers would ask Pawpaw's help in getting rid of the rabbits because they ate their crops, and Pawpaw was well known as a master rabbit hunter. He usually rented storage space at the food locker, later sharing his bounty with friends and family. Dad remembers that rabbits were more common than chickens. Dad was a very good shot, but it was his brother Bob that was the true sharpshooter. Bob was in the World War II infantry under the leadership of General Patton. Dad remembers Bob telling the story about how he delivered a baby in France. We kept a letter written to Uncle Bob from Pawpaw in 1943 and a letter from Uncle Bob written to his parents Christmas Day of 1944. One of Dad's jobs during college was in the Student Employment Office, and he worked there because he got to pre-register and get his first choice of classes, teachers, and schedule. His brother Bob insisted that Dad take student career testing to help him decide what to do. Dad chose accounting because it was the hardest. Dad did a college paper about why IBM should offer computer classes. The year was 1950, and the IBM executives were so impressed with Dad's research and gave him a wooden sign that said, "Think," in big letters to show their appreciation. Who knows, maybe Dad planted a seed that influenced IBM to think about marketing computers to the mass population. Dad kept that sign in his office until presenting it to my brother Jim when he got a job at IBM in Chicago during the 80s. When asked what advice he would give his grandchildren, he would always say, "Love each other, do your best, and help each other have fun."
Thank you for tuning in to the Director's Cut podcast, a part of Storytown Radio Show. Check in next month for more stories. Storytown is supported by the Tennessee Arts Commission, Terry and Sandy Countermine, Gary and Sandy Degner, Doug and Denise Gross, Herman and Beverly Jenkins, the Wild Women of Jonesboro, Wolf Development, and Mox of Jonesboro.